Good afternoon, and welcome to today's watercolor workshop with Jyotsna Umesh. I'm Dina Henshin, Adult Services Librarian at Russ Library, and your host today. Please feel free to send your messages through the chat feature that's down at the bottom right of your screen, and then I can relay them to Jyotsna. And now I'd like to welcome our artist, winner of the Loudoun Book and Art Festival's Plein Air Art Contest, Jyotsna Umesh. Jyotsna Umesh uses watercolors in a loose, fluid style to make lovely paintings, often of faraway, beautiful places. All you really need today are a couple of paintbrushes, a few primary colors, some water, a paper towel, and a paper plate on which to mix your colors. So let's get started. Welcome, Jyotsna.
Thank you, Dina. Dina, can you hear me fine? Is there an echo?
No, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Loudoun County Public Library, and thank you all who show so much interest in watercolor and art. So today we are going to paint this piece, and Dina has already shared a link. If you go there, you would see two sketches. One, a line sketch, and another one is a value sketch. So let me take you to the line sketch and tell you what's the difference. So if you're seeing my screen, here you see a tonal variation, right? Here you see some are dark, some are light, some are no color at all. This is a second stage. Let's go to the first stage. And this is very light, if you see. I'm bringing it closer, but you already have this link. So this is an attempt just to place from pencil on paper the key areas, like where does the mountain begins, where is the house, where is the your mountains, where are the rocks. That's it. So let's try this first. So first 10 minutes I will spend time on drawing and composition, and then we'll jump to painting. Does anybody has any questions before we begin?
I don't see any questions so far.
All right. And after drawing, I will show you the materials. So I'm using a Sharpie pen right now so that you can see it clearly, but you will be doing this with pencil. So you start with the top left for mountain. Somewhere here would be your house. And here it ends. It's roughly 40% on the top. And this is my horizon line. You will have some mountains here, another mountain, another set of mountains. And here is what, look at me, I'm putting very random shapes, but these are my rocks. If you're able to do this, that's a line drawing. What we did here, placed all the interesting elements, rocks, house, mountain, yeah, these are the mountains at the back, and on the top, there will be some bushes and all, but look at from the top and vertical and horizontal. That's a good composition where you have very balanced things. So let's take a 2 minutes time. I'll wait for you while you do this with pen, pencil, anything, but this will really be a rough paper. We'll throw this out just for practice. So this exercise helps us open up. Try this, have your hand movement, top, horizontal, placing key elements on the paper. Please feel free to ask if there are any questions. I'll wait while you do this exercise. All right, I'll wait a minute more, but you saw me, it was really a minute or 2 minute thing. We don't spend too much time here. This exercise is having a line movement, free hand movement to touch every element, key element of this painting. Please let us know if you have any questions.
I think everybody's busily doing their line drawing.
All right, that's good. All right, we'll move to next stage. This is again going to be rough paper. So take any printer paper if you have, and here we will do some tonal adjustment. So I'll show you what to make it dark, what will be the middle value, and what will leave the paper white. So I have to do this again. You can do with me. Now I'm being a little careful so that my shape is right. I was doing this exercise with my other student, and the mistake I saw is that these all rocks were very same shape and same size. So just try to add variation. All right, I'm kind of done, happy with this. If you're here with me, next stage is the tonal study. Well, that means what is the darkest dark, what are the lightest light, and what are the middle values, like this and this. So this exercise will also teach you how to simplify a subject, because this is actually a complex subject. It's not very easy. And some of my friends told me that, you are doing a hard subject. And I kind of explained that we are simplifying this. We'll simplify and make a beautiful painting out of it. You may have just 4 rocks, you may have more sand, you may have more, sky, but you will tell a story. So you're a storyteller. You will tell a story that there is somewhere on the top castle, some house, and there are some rocks, there's some water, and this beautiful sand piece. So what we need to do is, this is my piece, which is very dark. Any rocks touching water is dark. Some rocks which are behind each other, kind of not getting the sunlight, that portion is dark. And a portion of this side is not getting, which means sun is coming this side. So this will be lighter and this will be middle value. We'll make it a little dark. Now, if you see, this is starting to look like 3-dimensional. Closer mountains will have some color. Far mountains will be lighter and lighter. And at the end, we may add some birds for life. And the beach portion, there would be some dots, will splatter some dirt. And here will be some waves. Not too much, very. So if we can do this, this is called a tonal value drawing. We did a dark, we did a middle. I can show it because I only have one color. Like this is middle, and wherever I left, that will be very light. So any questions so far?
No, no questions.
All right, cool. So it's as I planned. First 15 minutes of composition and drawing. And we actually spent 15 minutes. It is my favorite quote with watercolors: plan like a turtle, paint like a rabbit. So you spend more time in planning, and when your actual painting starts, you kind of really go fast. You don't think too much. Am I getting the right color? Am I mixing right? Just go with the flow. And you'll realize that there will be spontaneity, there will be a transparency of watercolor, there will be not overworked. It's actually when we think again and we apply again and again, strokes, same place, that's where it starts overworked. All right, an example of not overwork is this. If you see this, I kind of put colors and leave it there. Then I'm not retouching. I'm not touching again. So all this portion, it's happening on the paper on itself. So that's what I'm trying to share with you. Minimum brushwork. All right, so let's start with the fun part, which is painting. So I'm today using this paper, which is Archie's cold pressed watercolor pad block. This is quite expensive. So the other version is the watercolor pad, which you could use, which is this. So these are cheaper compared to this. So I would say start with this. If not, this is very decent. A lot of my students use this. And you can always go on my website and check. I have a section there for materials. You can send me email. We can talk a lot about materials. So brushes, I'm using these two primarily brushes. This is a black silver velvet.
Quick
Size.
question. Oops, I'm
Yes.
sorry, Jyotsna. Was there a actual photograph of this, or was this a drawing that you made?
No, there are three. I've uploaded three. One was the line drawing, one was the value, and the third one is the actual painting, this copy of this.
Okay, but it wasn't an
Yep.
original photograph, it was a painting.
No, it was
Okay,
painting.
I just wanted to check. Thank you.
Sure. So we're using these two brushes, and I might use a flat brush, big brush for sky. Again, a lot of things what strikes me that time, I may pick up that brush. But honestly, you don't need more than 2 or 3 brushes. Just a principle: bigger the area you need to paint, bigger the brush would be. Smaller the area, smaller brush. For details, I go with, this is size 0 or 1, very good. And cheap, very decent size, decent price brush. This will be for windows. Yes, Dina, is there a question?
Yeah, somebody was wondering what kind of paint you use.
Yeah, I'm coming to it. So we talked about paper. We talked about brushes. Okay. And the paints, I'm using professional watercolor artist grade paints, Winsor and Newton. And these are my Winsor and Newton tubes. I don't use pan. I like tubes. They are more moist. And I use Daniel Smith. So these are and paints are expensive, I would admit. If you have to spend between paper, pen, and paper, brushes, and colors, paper is the most, I would say, spend on paper, then go with colors, and then brushes. That's my kind of advice based on my experience so far. Any other questions? I use it this. So this is my palette. And I keep it, it keeps moist. And if it's not moist, I would just take a spray bottle. I will just do a quick one. But usually it's always moist because I daily paint something. Okay, so some of the colors today that we would need two blues. I have a cerulean blue here. You can see my palette, right? Yeah, cerulean blue. I have ultramarine blue. If you have cobalt blue, doesn't matter. Take any one blue on your palette. Then I have some greens, sap green and viridian green. I usually make my own greens by just putting, blue and yellow. But you can use any greens that you have. This exercise today, painting, is more of how we do it rather than what colors we use. Don't really worry about colors. Color scheme could vary. It also varies based on your mood, on interest. So don't use what I'm using. Whatever makes you excited about painting, use those. There are some yellows, light and dark. I might use this. This is ultra burnt umber, one of my favorite colors because of here, if you see, and rocks, burnt umber and burnt sienna, these two. I don't have red, it's here, but I don't see it in the painting. I might splatter a little bit on this area to make it a bit attractive. So far, I've shared all my material. Any questions before we start painting? All right, so next 5 minutes we'll spend on actual drawing on the paper, watercolor paper. So this has to be final one. This is the one we are going to paint. So let's spend 5 minutes. It won't be very dark. You may not be able to see, but you have as a reference image, so you can use that. How are we doing? Give me a thumbs up if you are with us on drawing. When I say drawing, I really don't want all the details when you draw, because then if you put all the details, we will be really strict with drawing, with painting. That means I can't go and change something. So I just want to give an impression, and then while I'm painting, I should be free to change.
That was actually the question that I just got. You just answered.
Okay, what was it? Like how detailed we do?
Just if they're supposed to draw the whole thing again, and I just said not all the details, just an impression.
Yep. You're right, Dina. Just the impression, it's again a balance, enough so that you know what is where, but not every window, every detail, every rock. I have some rocks placed, of course. One thing I forgot to tell you, I'm using a candle wax. We did put on the event calendar, we did add in the description. I don't have actually a wax crayon, so I used old candle. If you have any, I'm going to use in some places random, and you will see how it'll resist paint. And maybe 1 or 2 places here. If you don't have, don't worry. But it's a very interesting, I will bring it closer. So if you see these, this is paint, wax resisting paint. I can't create this impression without it. I mean, it's hard. So if you have, go ahead, use it. If you don't, just see how I'm using and learn and use next time. So we're ready to paint. Any questions? First 20 minutes, we've learned composition, how to place elements where, tonal, something about different tones.
No new questions.
All right. Dina, are we recording? Somebody pinged me and texted. Are we recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Okay, great. And how many do we have today?
So
Attendees?
we have about 44 people.
All right, awesome. So keep your paints out. I will show you how to do, let me just show you 3 values, low, mid, and light, medium, and dark. If you've done workshops with me, you already know this, but I'm just repeating this because it's very important part. So I'm taking ultramarine, just adding some water, more water. It's very light. So you see this? This is the lightest light when I say we will use this. It's kind of watery, you see? A lot of water, 70 to 80% water, some color. So it's like this. Then when I ask you to, we'll do a middle value, I'll take more color, 50% color, 50% water. It'll look like this, right? And now when I say darkest dark, I'm not going to use water at all. I will directly take my color. My darkest dark. So lightest value, middle value, dark value. Any questions on values? Because I will use this term a lot when we are painting this.
No questions right now.
Oh, let's wet our colors. So my planning, the way I plan, sometimes I start with sky, but in this painting, this piece is more interesting and I want to start with this and I will do sky at the end. So let's do the castle or this house on the top. So I'm going to use a mid value. Now you know middle value. I'm going to use a burnt sienna. If you have burnt sienna, mix with ultramarine blue and it'll give you a beautiful actually color of old buildings. So I'm going to color that. It's less than middle value. So it's kind of between very light and mid value, okay? And I haven't left anything white. I'm covering entire house. Now, while this is wet, I really want this area wet when I do this piece because I don't want 2 separate pieces, this and this. So have a very dark green. I have viridian green. Okay. And I'm going to start I'm changing my colors from this to this because I'm in different mood, so it's all reflects what you want to do. So I'm all the way here. If I use the same green all the way, it'll be boring. So I now need to introduce some other color. So I'm taking burnt sienna and just starting where and I left it. See, it's flowing on its own. And I'm not overworking. I'm not going in that area and trying to correct it. I'm now using some ultramarine, burnt umber. So you can see the transition. This was burnt sienna, this was green, this was umber. It's all mixing together on paper. I'm not mixed all these together. It's happening there. And this comes with practice, lots and hours of practice. So don't worry if you're not getting in the first painting. I'm adding some ultramarine. So keep those 3 or 4 colors handy. I'm alternating between sometimes ultramarine blue, sometimes viridian, sometimes this burnt umber family. So I'm alternating, changing, transition is happening on paper. And this is all middle value. It's neither very dark nor very light. Any questions from anyone? If you're busy doing, that's great.
I think everybody's busy painting.
That's awesome. Now when I'm going down, this is really dark. So I'm going to add my high values like the darkest blue, viridian. I'm mixing all 2 or 3, whatever it's in my palette. And I now just start putting. See the variation. So this piece is almost good. And I won't touch it until it dries because I'm pretty happy with this. So next, whenever it's ready, dried, then I'll do the glazing. I'll add more textural. I'm going to pick up this bead. I don't want it to run down. So now it's again a planning time. What do we do? Should we do this piece? There are 3 major pieces remaining: rocks, beach, water, mountains. So I might start with mountain, come down to water, do rocks, and do beach. So far, I haven't changed the brush. It's the same, the one brush that I'm using, size 8 or 10. This is very useful and I love it. I've taken ultramarine blue for mountain. This is a light, not the middle value. It's the light, very light. Now, I'm almost rinse the blush. I don't have any color, but it has still some blue. This is my far mountain. Now water part, I'm taking some clean water and I'm wetting this water area because I really want it smooth. And right now I have a decision to make. Should I make it little purplish? Should I keep it plain blue? I kind of am leaning more with bluish. So I'm taking this and just one stroke and leave it. So there's a lot of white reflection. White is seen, which will be actually clouds reflection. If you make all one body of blue, it will lose its interest. Any questions? I know I'm kind of telling you all what I learned in 5 years, watching countless videos, reading books. So if you're not following me fully, I totally understand. I've been there where you are today. If you are new or, you know, couple of years experience. But
I think you've said in other classes that it's important for people to understand they don't have to have a complete painting when they're done. They can go at their own pace and do their own colors. Because I think sometimes people get in a frenzy
totally,
to
yes,
finish the painting. So they have
yes.
time to go back and add touches and do different things like that.
Totally, Dina. That is exactly what I should have said earlier also, but you're not in a rush that whatever I'm doing in 1 hour, you have to do. No, you can always go do a touch up later, or maybe you're not done with this piece, or maybe you won't do sky. You can complete it later. You can do one more layer of enhancing the rocks. So don't be under pressure. This is a fun exercise. This is, I think, more to see how you mix colors, how the variation comes, what is a composition, why did we start from here? Why not here? Because it has a nice vertical and a horizontal piece. So no pressure, just do at your pace. This piece I had to do it fast because I wanted colors to merge, and I can go slow in other areas. But here, if you ask me to wait, what will happen is it'll have a one block patch of yellow, one patch of green, and it will look odd. So you have to kind of have a fast speed there. And again, going back to that quote, you know, plan like a turtle, paint like a rabbit. You will paint fast. Don't think too much, go with the flow. And if you've done enough paintings, it will start falling. It will start coming to you. You won't even realize which day was that when you, oh, today my painting was best. No, it's constant learning. So I guess I'm okay with water here. It's dried. There are two big rocks here. So I'm going to take very dark. I'm going to make very dark with burnt umber and ultramarine blue. And this is my darkest. You saw I did not take water. And you watch me how I'm doing. I will do a broken edge. So it looks like water is splashing on that. And then I will have just some splash. If it's too dark, I will take a burnt sienna and kind of give it a raw color. Those are the rocks there.
I'm sorry, Jyotsna.
Yeah. No, go
somebody was
ahead.
asking what color you used for that.
For this,
I
this
think
was
the most recent. Yep.
Yes, this was ultramarine blue and burnt umber. That was the dark side. And since I found it too dark, I just added below burnt sienna to give it a warmer look, brighter look.
Thank you.
Sure. Now I'm going to do some rocks here. And please don't feel free to share your painting with me after, even if it's a partial painting, not full. If you're going in the right direction or if you want any critique, I have got help from many artists and I really want to give back. Now I feel this portion is done. This is remaining. I will do a middle color, middle value of some yellow ochre, a little bit of red, any red you have, and some burnt sienna. These three colors I'll mix. So I'm taking in front of you yellow ochre. I'm taking burnt sienna. Right, these are the two colors you see here: burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and I might use a little bit of red. That's it. So you will see that I'm covering from here to entire end, and then I will do some glazing to show the shape of rocks. I'm using side of my brush. And I'll keep changing colors. It is too yellow now. I'll use burnt sienna. And I want to cover this entire till the end, because this is the beach. Taking more water, no color, and making it go down, go down. And I really use the biggest brush, whatever biggest you have. You see how smooth this is? Because I did it fast. I didn't stop in between, because I have to flow. It has to flow. And I have it 30% angle here, so gravity is helping me. If you don't have, you can use a book underneath your paper and then it'll fall or you can hold your paper a little bit like this, and then gravity effect will help. Now, while this is wet, we can do a lot of interesting things, because when it's wet, I can create some textures. And don't worry that you have to exactly do what I'm doing here. If you learn something out and do it later, that's a good learning. I'm giving some shapes from my side of the brush. This is my ultra, whatever dark I had. I don't really think in terms of colors. I think whatever is in my palette, I just mix few. And I care about shapes so that every shape is not same. And this is an impressionistic painting. It's not a realistic or abstract. It's in the middle of both. See, I'm just dropping a little bit of blue and forgetting about it. I'm not touching that again. But of course, if it's going too down, I have to do something about it. I might just lift it and have a shape of another rock. Now I have to give some kind of a beach look. So I'm using squeezed all paint. It's totally no water in it. Taking some color, whatever was mixed, 2 or 3, I don't mind, and I will splatter. This is some dirt or any questions so far, Dina, you see? Please type in your chat box if you're finding it very hard. This will help me to choose subjects for future.
No, nobody's commenting at the moment.
Okay. You see this effect? This is all candle, and it was looks so beautiful. I couldn't create without that. Now, constantly thinking, if I'm doing here, it's not that I have forgotten about here. If this is dry, I can go ahead and start the reflection areas. Like if sun is coming from here, which means this area will be dark. So let's do that. Same color scheme, a little bit more color, less water. Hope you're having fun, and don't paint in pressure. It's real fun. We are not entering in any competition. It's important we will leave some, I'm not covering everything, so that there is some highlight. So it's starting to look three-dimensional. Looks like sun is hitting from this side, and here is this part is not capturing, not getting light, so it's in shadow. Now you can make a small window, and that is just a touch. I'll add some chimney or something just on the top. All right, I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes. How are we doing in time? 4:46, we are okay. So I'll just wait 2 more minutes so that you can, if you're doing with me, When you're close, you can catch up. You seeing any comments, Dina? Anyone has questions or struggling or challenges you're having? This is more of a practice class. Don't think you have to end up with a one complete painting.
Yeah,
Don't
nobody is really saying much, so I'm
They're
guessing
painting. Yeah, I'm
painting.
guessing they're painting. Okay.
But feel free
You
to send any questions that you might want for Jyotsna.
and you may also want I have a YouTube channel, so you can find on YouTube. Just look for my name and it should show up. I have at least 20 free tutorials of different paintings. So you can subscribe. I try to put one weekly. It helps. I know I have watched many that helped me. All right, so I'm more leaning to have a sky and then complete this and this piece. So sky, that's a principle which I found very useful. If you spend a lot of time on sky, then your painting is about sky. Then it's not rest. So think about it. What do you want to show? What is your storytelling? Maybe it's a stormy day. Maybe it's so cloudy day that is your focus of it. But if that is not, which seems like this has so much else going on, we will keep it very simple. And I'll show you how to have a very simple sky. Kind of wetting, you see, just on the top portion. My paper is really good, so it'll allow me, if you have not a very good paper, you'll have a hard time controlling. So just be a little careful. Have a bounty heady if it runs down, because this, I don't want anything to touch here. So have it, if at all it comes down, you can control it. I'll take the same ultramarine because I want a same color family. I don't want one side to shock the another. So I have used that color here. I might use the same there. So I have and all I'm doing is, and that's it. Now I'm just taking it down. That's it. That's my sky. You saw what I did? Just wet the paper, touched it, and took it down. And now I'm not using this again and again. That will be my overwork and it'll spoil the spontaneity and transparency of this medium, which no other medium provides. Acrylic, oil, talk of any other medium. You want to make it interesting sky, you could add a little violet, or it's endless like scout. I guess, Dina, we can do a session on just clouds, and it's so interesting to see morning clouds, evening sky, and itself is a whole workshop. So I think I'm happy with the sky because I don't want attention here. I want attention here. So if this is my dry, it's still not dry, so I won't touch it. But now I can go ahead and I have to really give this very dark. This, you see here how dark it is? When I'm saying dark, I'm really using less water as well, very high. So same color scheme, just more color, less water. Now I'm taking some dry brush. I have taken water, wiped it totally, and I'm using color, pure color. And you will see this is a dry brush. All I'm doing is, because of the paper tooth, it will not go on every, it will leave some area behind. So it's good way to do texture. But I'm careful that I don't cover everything. If I cover everything, that my previous wash is compromised, which I don't want to do. Starting to look now three-dimensional. I need to do same exercise for rocks so that it looks reasonably three-dimensional, because right now it's middle and a low. It doesn't have the dark value. So I'm going to add that. Same color scheme. So color scheme, ultramarine, burnt umber, burnt sienna. You see, I did not paint each rock separately. I'm giving an impression of rocks. Again, spatter a little bit. Can anybody put in the chat box if you are following this, you're with me?
Somebody's commented, thank you. I wasn't able to paint along because I came in late, but looking forward to painting. Colors are beautiful on the rocks.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, thank you. That helps actually for future classes as well, so thank you.
And I get another comment that somebody, yes, she is following.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing. Now I'm taking the same color instead of splattering, I'm just S-shape. These are some you would see on the beach, some old, you know, a lot of waste and natural things that it's interesting shapes that I'm just trying to put. At the same time, I'm too careful that I'm not doing too much here that this portion. So you're always in a mind balancing. What is my focal point? So I think my focal point, I want everybody to focus here. These are just helping the story. These are just helping. And there's a beautiful tree here, which I want to put. Just adding life. Same here. Some dark window. So you are telling story, you want to put two rocks here. You have an artistic license to do what you really want. So I recommend, don't be a slave to a picture. You can change it what you want and how you want it. I'm going to add some birds. Water is looking a little too light, so I might just add some horizontal strokes to show ripples, but not too much. I guess I'll consider this at this point done. However, there is some work on this, but I might take a step back and complete, but kind of, if you can do this much, either today the class or after you can complete it, that's a great, if you used wax, that's how you see the impression. It's very, very useful for um, rocks and all those kind of textural old house. So this is, I was doing a rough practice this morning, same on small paper, just for fun part. And you will see every time color would be different. This is a different blue. There's a different feeling when you see here. There are more rocks, right? So if you paint it 3 times, you will find it every time a different painting. You can never replicate your work. Well, hope you enjoyed the class and you were able to follow.
Does anyone have any other questions for Jyotsna before she departs for the day? Jyotsna, when are you doing do you have anything else scheduled right now?
Yeah, we are doing this piece next in July. If you can you see this properly? Yeah. So this is a boat which we actually, participants last week picked this. I did show a couple and there was a vote for this one. So we're going to do a boat, and again, you see some rocks and all. We might use the candle for wax, some sky, but here is the focal point is this. So we're going to do boat painting next time.
Jyotsna, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Somebody was wanting to get a screenshot of your paintings. Is there any way that you can kind of zoom in on them a little bit for a second? I think
Which painting? This one?
no, the ones that you did today.
Yeah, I can bring it closer and.
Yeah, just for a minute so that they could do a screenshot.
Yeah, but this is, I don't know if it'll fully come. You'll have to take twice, right? And then this piece, maybe you can take one more.
All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
And then if people want to share their paintings to you for advice, I'll put which
My
email
email,
do you
yes.
prefer?
Yeah, Yahoo is good. My first name, last name is one word at yahoo.com. You can send your work, and I do get every time I do these classes lots of good paintings, and it's fun too. And they're so proud to share, and I feel really good.
I put it in the chat box, your email address, so that if people want to share, you can give them some advice. And somebody else commented that it was great and relaxing, and thank you.
Well, thank you. That's nice. Good to hear.
And more thank you. So I think we will wrap it up for the day. Thank you so much, Jyotsna, for your time and your energy. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you, Loudoun County Public Library. These events are great learning.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you soon.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Dina. Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. We appreciate it.